live on Facebook. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. And this is my name is Hui Ying. No. My name is Kun Ming, and this is my lovely wife Hui Ying.
So funny.
And we are Blessings FM. Only blessings, no curses.
Yes, that's
and
right.
today we have a wonderful program up for you. We have two special guests. They are architects.
Yes.
Wow. And so one thing that really okay, anyway, those of you
we're going to is happening here.
Wow, what's happening?
What is going on? Can you check on your side there?
Okay, hang on.
Okay, we must always check whether it's working, right?
Some broadcasting thing. Let me
looks
see.
Looks like either my internet. Oh, I know why. Maybe I pull out this one. Let me try this. I don't need this.
Okay. Oh, okay. It looks okay.
It looks okay.
The broadcast looks okay.
Okay.
Anyway, today we are going to talk to two architects. So those of you who have architect friends, please do like and share this with them. And those of you who thinks that they want to know more about architecture,
yes.
Please do share this with them too. And so what inspired me to invite them is really he's a good friend of mine. We always have lunch together around Singapore, trying to find out new food stuff. And he's an architect.
Okay? He's got a brilliant brain.
And he's also a chef, part-time chef, but only hired by his wife. That's all, only nobody else. So anyway, without further ado, let's welcome to our two special guests, Tak Hao and William.
Hi everyone. Yes, hello
everyone.
Hi everyone, and hi Kun Ming and Hui Ying. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share here on Blessings FM. Only blessings and no curses.
Yes, you got it right, man.
I got it right? Okay.
Yes. Everybody must know that tagline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Tak Hao, the time when you shared with me about this 10 commandments of architecture, I was so blown away. I was like, wow, you can actually do that. And then you were sharing about how both of you, went to join a competition during the COVID time. I was like, wow, so inspired. I was like, wow. Oh, so I actually, since then, I think in April, you shared with me, I always wanted to invite you and let you talk about your profession, and also William, how both of you came together, and how you all overcome many difficulties to actually put in this entry to this competition. So please tell us more about yourself, introduce yourself, and also tell us about the competition and what you all do. So maybe William, maybe you can start first.
Hello, my name is William. Yeah, thanks Kun Ming and Hui Ying for inviting us here. So my firm name is Form Space Architect. How I know Tak Hao is actually we were sitting in the same professional QP exam, what we call a qualified person. Yeah, so we took the same exam together. But before the exam, actually I know him because we were in the same church. We have common friends, but we never know each other. Yeah, but so the exam actually got us to know each other more, and then later on we actually meet up a few more times because we have common friends as well.
Yeah. I see. So we are all in the same church, is it? Are we all from the
City Harvest Church?
Yes, City Harvest Church.
Oh, okay. Wow, praise the Lord.
Yeah, so we are all same church. Okay, praise the Lord. Wow.
So your firm is Form Space Architect.
Yeah, Form Space Architect.
FORMSPACE.
Okay. Let me just let people know.
Is it joined together, Form Space?
Yeah, Form Space, one word. Form Space Architect.
What got you into doing architecture, William?
Well, it came from when I was in junior college. That's when I first stepped into the library. Actually has a section for architecture, and I stumbled upon a book that is if you know there's this famous architect called Frank Lloyd Wright, and he has this wonderful amazing building called Falling Water House.
Falling Water House.
Falling Water House. Yeah, the house is just literally above the waterfall itself. A small waterfall, not a
The
big one.
house
But
is
it's
above the water.
yeah, just seated cantilever above the falling water. So just imagine, if you have not seen it, just imagine it's just above a small waterfall. So it's in America. It has 4 seasons. So in the winter, literally the water freezes, and so it's amazing. You know how.
Wow.
So at that time, actually, I was studying art. I was
Art.
studying art in my
Okay.
as one of the subject in my junior college. So when I saw the building, I was blown away. I thought art was quite dramatic, right? When you paint and what, but then when the architecture when it fused in with the nature is just amazing. So
Wow.
that got me hooked. And later on, I signed up for the architecture course.
Wow. So it's a
Wow.
falling water house.
Yes.
Okay. So
Wow,
my
that's
friends, those of
amazing.
you who are interested, just Google falling water house. And
Yeah.
wow, that is really amazing. Thank you very
Interesting.
much for your sharing, William. How about you, Tahao?
Okay, as Kumi has introduced, my name is Tat Hao. I am the founder of Tat Architects. Tat comes from my friend, but actually Tat Architects is also called team architecture with Jesus in the center. So the T is actually a cross, as you can see here, or sometimes it can be read as a T by itself.
Oh,
Yes. So do I answer the same thing as what you have asked earlier about what got me into
Yeah.
architecture?
yeah. What got
Okay,
you into architecture, Tahao?
Okay, I don't have that story like like William. Originally, when I was in secondary school, I was really keen on music, and I played in the school orchestra, and I played the violin, and I spent a lot of time in the ECA room. And at that time, I was contemplating of majoring in music somewhere in Europe. And
Wow.
in the midst of that,
Wow.
with encouragement from my parents, who asked me to look into other interests in addition to music. Just like other Asian parents, they were concerned whether music can provide a livelihood in the long term. I chanced upon books as well, just like William. I read about architecture books and other related professions. And I did not come across Falling Water then, but I was reading about American architecture, a book about American architecture, and I started to kind of have an idea that architecture is not just about buildings, and it has got a lot of relationship about music. And when I started the course, a professor told us that architecture is sometimes known as frozen music. And that got my interest because my first interest is
Wow,
music.
that's interesting.
And gradually, I began to see the relationship of architecture not just as an art, but then not just as a structure or engineering, but also music as well.
Oh, that's
Wow,
interesting.
frozen architecture. Music is
No,
actually
frozen music.
frozen music.
music. Wow, that's very interesting, because it's like I heard of this term before. We find our intersection, what we love very much and what we are very passionate about. Actually, love and passion are almost the same, right? But it's like there is an intersection there, and then we'll find that specialty, the uniqueness about ourselves. It's
Yes.
a part of self-discovery, and it's like, praise the Lord, both of you found yourself early in life. One is art and buildings, right? And art and nature, right? Another one is music and architecture. Yeah, art, nature and architecture and music. Wow, that's amazing. That's
Wow.
interesting.
Very interesting journey. So,
Yeah.
Tahao, why not you can share with us more about this project that you've done.
Okay, I
Okay.
share screen.
Let's put the screen on.
All
Wow.
right, there you go.
Archifest 2020. So those of you who just joined us today,
Archifest.
we
Cool.
have two very professional architects from Form Space Architect, which
Yeah.
is William, and also from Tat Architects is Tat Hao. And
Yeah.
they are sharing about the way of architecture, what they've done in this Archifest 2020. And those of you who have a liking for buildings or just chasing some kind of dreams, well, let this episode encourage you and continue on.
Yes.
So, Tahao, take it away.
Okay, thank you once again, Kuming and Hui Ying, for giving us this opportunity to share on Blessings FM. Before we share, we just want to bring in another party who is very much part of this Archifest Pavilion Design Competition. He's actually an architect himself. His name is Chik Chin. who is not here today. But
Oh.
in the role that he played, that he participated, he was not functioning as an architect then. He was the builder for this project from Dingshen Engineering. So both William and me started on the design process of this competition. And William, who was Chek Chin, who was a former colleague of William at RSP Architects, was contacted to participate in this competition as a contractor.
Oh.
He has joined his dad's firm, Dingshen Engineering, to be a contractor.
Oh. So it's in the family.
Yes, that's right. And I think it is very important that being architect, we are never just loners, and it is always a team effort. And over here, we are just sharing a small project that 3 parties coming together in actual build projects. The whole team plays a great part, like structure engineering, structure engineer, mechanical and electrical engineer, the QS, the contractors, and other building specialists. Without the whole team, we can never get a building erected and put up eventually.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's always
true.
a team effort. Yes. Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So
Wow, team
I would just share a little bit about ArchiFest. As we're very honored to be called by Kunming and Hui as the architects for today's radio station. But perhaps in the mind of many listeners, you are thinking that we are going to share about big buildings and projects. But what we're going to share today is actually a very small project. It is a temporary pavilion that is commissioned by ArchiFest, which we have the honor of receiving a special mention. The ArchiFest is an annual architectural festival event organized by the Singapore Institute of Architects. The event exhibits best practices of architecture for professionals, as well as outreach to the general public and schools with series of seminars, talks on architecture, urbanism, environmental issues, etc. So it covers more than just buildings only.
Wow.
The theme for this year's, yes, that's right. The theme for this year's ArchiFest is Architecture Saving Our World. Such a big theme.
Wow.
If you can read from the extract here, it says Architecture Saving Our World is not about grand architecture or the magnificence of architecture, but new ideas and responsible design that benefit our ecology and humanity, such as climate change, public health, social equity, cultural continuity, etc. Some of these have yet to make their way into mainstream architecture, but there is no lack of the spirit of creative activism within the profession, creating concepts and testing prostitutions. So this is a brief that's being extracted from ArchiFest 2020. You can see there's a link there for those who are interested. You can actually click onto that link. The event will take place.
Archifest.sg.
Yes, it will take place around September, October of every year.
Oh, okay. It's a yearly competition. All right.
So there will be like an exhibition about it.
Yes, that's right. So during the ArchiFest season, which usually holds about 2 weeks or so, there is a series of exhibition that feature different architecture in Singapore, especially, as well as around the world, of different scale that address the theme of that time. So this year they will want to talk about architecture that save our world, basically.
Wow.
And then they will invite different speakers as well as professionals to address this theme.
Okay, so this year's theme, Architecture Saving Our World, is very interesting because of the COVID, right?
Yes,
so
right.
I think, in my mind, I'll be thinking, okay, any architecture that comes after this year would have social distancing in mind.
Wider corridors.
Yes, very much. Actually, until recent years, most of the architects or architecture students, we have been taught that architecture is about form follow functions, which means that the function of the building will take forms. However, from now onwards, because of COVID-19, there is a new tagline that comes up. And I teach part-time in NUS as well as NAFA, and there's been talks that maybe form does not just follow functions only, but form follows well-being and health and good health. So when we design in future, that we need to think about not just about the functionality or the conventions of architecture, but about wealth and good well-being and the good and about health as well. So
Wow.
this is widening our horizon like never before. The
It's
COVID-19
true.
has actually widened our thinking.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's true. So in a way, COVID-19, I mean, there are some things are really, really bad, but there are also good things that come out of it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the thinking about architecture and things like that. Wow, if you're not in it,
Definitely.
we really don't know, we never go and think about this kind of thing, man. Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
So when we received this theme, we were buffered actually. We were thinking, how do we address? It's such a big topic, architecture saving our world. I mean, how do we actually do something like that within the pavilion that is as small as 2 HDB flats? So when we think about this theme, it relates back to the fundamental process of creation, and we remember a quote that says everything is created twice, first in the mind, and then in reality. Yes.
Everything is created twice. Okay.
So as
In the
architects,
mind, that is very good. It's
Yes,
like
we
in
created-
spirit and in natural, right? Then it becomes supernatural.
yes, it is definitely. So as
Yeah.
architects, we first conceive the idea in our mind before we put them on paper, before they are constructed in reality eventually. And
Wow.
and because of that, ideas are powerful and ideas can change reality. Before what you see in the physical, it's conceived in the mind first. Therefore,
Wow.
we came to a kind of a statement or a conclusion that good ideas can change the world for the betterment.
Wow.
So
I
that-
think about it.
Yes.
Sorry, when you're talking about it, right? I'm just thinking, God had us in his mind first, right? We always read in the Bible, it say, God had you in his mind, even before you were conceived, even before you were formed. So it's almost exactly like that. And then with your last statement, what was your last statement again? Can you repeat?
good ideas can change the world for the betterment.
Wow, that means God made us to change the world for the betterment, because we were in his
Exactly.
mind, and then we were conceived and we were born, into this earth. So each and every one of us have this very unique purpose and calling to be the betterment of the world, or to make changes for the betterment of the world.
Wow.
Exactly.
I'm
Very
blown
much.
away.
Wow.
Very much.
We're supposed
We
to
were
talk
blown
about
away too when we thought about that.
Wow.
And it all leads us back to the Word of God. And William, who I'm very honored to partner with him on this project, is that we, as believers, we share the same faith. And one day he shared with me passionately about the revelation he received from God about this project, which came from Psalms number 1. And William, you want to share about the revelation that you received concerning this project on Psalms number 1?
Okay, yes. Can we have the next slide? So the next
Well,
slide.
Psalm number 1. So those of you who are joining us, we are here with William and also with Tahao, and they are sharing a little bit on architecture and how they found, how the 10 commandments of architecture.
Wow,
So
it's amazing. I'm getting blown away already, actually.
Take it away, someone.
Yes.
So before I share some smart, I just want to say, because Tahao say he's honored to work with me, I'm also very honored to work with Tahao. Yeah.
So humble, all of you.
We are also very honored to have you.
We are honored to work with each other.
So Psalms 1, it came about because we're talking about how ideas can change the world. And in verse 2, it says that the man who delights in the law of the Lord and who meditates on his law day and night, that person is like a tree planted by the streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither, and whatever they do prospers. So the idea that, and in the Bible also tell us, right, that whatever that's lovely, whatever that's godly, right? Noble, meditate on those things. So we begin to think that ideas is really started with words, right? And really words are like seeds. So it's like what the Bible is saying, that when you meditate on the seeds of His word, right, it begin to grow. It can grow into a tree that will become fruitful in its season, right? And the fruits begin to bear more seeds, right? And from a single tree, they can become a forest. So we thought that relating back to the theme of the architecture, for the pavilion this year, that architecture saving the world, our world. So we don't think that our pavilion would be any small temporary structure would be able to save the world. However, we think that good ideas can really change the world. Yeah.
Wow.
So we begin to think that the seeds that take the sharing of idea as seeds, and we think that hopefully it would be like what Psalms 1 says, that as the seed of the idea is being shared and then grow in each of this person. And the Bible does describe that each of us is like a tree, right? So as we take in the seeds and they grow, they will be good ideas, right? It becomes like from a seed to a forest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you are blowing me away, man, with
Very
your
good, very
brain.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
let
This
us
is so
move to
good,
the.
so good.
Thank you, William.
So
The next
as
one.
another,
Yes, go on. Yes, please. Go on.
Okay. Just sharing on the verse 1 itself, Psalms 1 verse 1, because there was a driver that drives our architecture. It talks about the process of meditation, from walking to standing to sitting. So with each action of the relating to the bodily gesture, right? Actually, there's a deepening of the meditation of the word, of the idea itself. Yeah, from walking is just merely there's a passerby, right? And then you hear the idea, it's very good. Then you start to stand and then try to listen to it more. And when you are seated with the people, you become like one of the, you receive the idea, become one that is like preaching the ideas. Yeah.
Wow.
So from hearing the idea to receiving it and to preaching it itself. Yeah. So that's how you want to carry on.
That's right. As William has shared, we picked up these keywords, and as you can see, the words that are being black and bold here. The Psalm 1 starts with blessed, and then verse 3 ends with prosperous. And in between, the action of walk, stand, and sit are mentioned. The other keywords such as meditate, tree, water, fruit are words that actually stood up as we were thinking. And in fact, from here, it reminds us of John chapter 4, where Jesus walked to the town of Samaria to meet the Samaritan woman by the well. So later in the project, you will see that there is a well, there is a symbol of the urban well, or of which we call the well here in our project, we call it the urban well. And the idea of the urban well is where the community gathers and exchange, especially during the ancient times, and even in some of our civilization today. They are there to exchange, to draw water for the livelihood. And in the instance of John chapter 4, Jesus sat by the well and he met the Samaritan women. They started to exchange a conversation, of which Jesus preached to her on the good news of salvation in verse 25. So just now, Kuming was talking about the 10 commandments. Okay, over here that we want to share is about the 10 message of architecture. So as we were thinking, as we mentioned, the exercise of doing this pavilion is very much about brainstorming of ideas, and we wanted to see how the 10 commandments in the Word of God can be parallel to environmental design or environmental issues. So we kind of translate that in a way to a version of 10 message of architecture. Such as there is only one earth, we design for zero waste, we appropriate material use, we learn from history and heritage, we honor the environmental parameters, we allow flora and fauna to thrive, that means don't kill the trees, we adopt innovative technology, be inclusive, we promote diversity, design for sound, physical, mental, and social health, and we celebrate life. So these are the kind of anchor message, although it may not be very apparently manifested in our design, but it's kind of embedded inside our thinking process.
Wow. Wow, this is so good, so good.
Wow,
you're like teaching us how to read the Bible, It's like
from an architect's point of view.
Wow.
So, hey, hi Lydia, hi. Thanks for joining in today. We are speaking to two of our architect friends, and wow, they're giving us the architect way of reading the Bible.
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
And I really feel like whatever you're sharing are very applicable to parents. How would
parents?
Yeah, like. how we would look at our children, because we are actually nurturing them, they build buildings, right? We build up lives, we build up children. And then how do we apply what we learn in the Bible into like parenthood, into different areas?
Oh,
So amazing. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm very
fine.
excited hearing you all,
Okay. So some of the facts here about the exhibition itself. Okay, the pavilion we are not the first prize recipient for the pavilion. We are awarded the special mention, but the actual pavilion will eventually be constructed at URA Center at 45 Maxwell Road, which is you can Google on that, and it is prominently located at Tanjong Pagar area. The size of the pavilion is as mentioned earlier, is about 160 to 240 square meter, which is about roughly the size of 2 5-room flats. Not very big area. And the program that is set forth to us is that the pavilion must include exhibition space for selected projects, a mobile stage, a place where AV projection can be projected, small spaces for small group interaction that facilitate walking, browsing, and sitting with safe distancing, as well as innovative program, both virtually and physical. So this is the framework for the pavilion. You can kind of imagine that it's not going to be very big. So we are looking at this, plus some of the ideas that we were brainstorming earlier, plus also other design ideas. These are the things that came to our mind, which is the different issues that we can extract both from our life, as well as from the Bible verse, as well as the issues of the environment, as in a larger context. So things such as cultural continuity, ecology, innovation, sustainability, mental health, contemplate. But out of this, the three things still stand out, which is about standing, sitting, and walking. And among others, certain elements play a very big part in the pavilion. The symbol of a tree, which you know that one tree, and that can actually create a forest after which. So we call it remediation, which is actually about recreating the environment back to its original nature state, and then and water as well. So these are some of the themes or some of the bigger topics that kind of keeps us going in the back of our mind as we design the pavilion.
Wow.
Okay, from here we just want to kind of illustrate with a simple diagram. This is a diagram that shows that and you can see the picture of Jesus walking into a place. Okay, it can be a place of, it can be Samaria, or it can be our life, or it can be a place.
This is on the right hand side, huh?
Yes, on the right hand side. Okay, yeah, and then people are sitting around the well, just like the Samaritan women, and then the tree, as well as the well, is where people gather and for exchange of ideas. So this is kind of a symbolic, pictorial symbol for our design.
Wow, awesome,
okay. So as we mentioned, the pavilion is a depository for ideas. That's the topic, the title of our submission. It is an urban place that encourages architecture and urbanism practitioners, academia, students, and general members of the public of different ages to come together to plant the seed of ideas. And we hope that in the process, some of these seed ideas will grow one day and impact the community and the nation, as well as to the world. Okay, as mentioned earlier, the site is in URA. This is the photograph of the actual site where the pavilion is proposed to build over. It incorporates an existing water feature, which later you will see in our design. We try to incorporate we try to incorporate a space which we call it the urban well, which is the black color water feature, and then the two others with trees behind are the courtyard as well as the entrance area. Okay, the proposed pavilion engages the bodily posture of walking, standing, and sitting in movement through space as the basis of strategizing the spatial experience into three progressive spaces. Each progression attempts to draw the visitors deeper into the ideas showcased here. So what you see here is a plan. Zone number 1, as you walk through, that's the entrance that you can see. That's called the front hall. As you walk in, the visitors are greeted by recorded audio playback on current issues of the world, such as climate change, public health, social equity, cultural continuity, etc. And thought-provoking quotations or times may line the wall, such as "we have a dream," and so on and so forth, to get people thinking as they walk through the front hall. Zone number 2 is called the courtyard. The courtyard is contains visual displays of contemporary ideas and practices of the mentioned topics, and adequate standing spaces will be allowed for visitors to take in the messages. Papers, writing, and drawing materials will be provided for visitors, who are encouraged to participate by penning their thoughts and ideas on either paper or perhaps on the fixed writable glass walls. Wooden pallets are stacked to tables for writing, as well as walls where ideas on paper can be slotted into any of the gaps in the pallet wall to be discovered and added on by subsequent visitors to the pavilion. Zone number 3 is the urban wealth. There is a proposed stage and sitting areas where the public, the proposed stage and sitting areas are placed near and around the existing water feature at URA to encourage verbal exchange and presentation of ideas. Key messages and pavilions are placed around the sitting area to encourage further discussion and conversation. Okay, the pavilion was given the budget to construct, and we were thinking with these ideas and with all the design ideas, you can have all the ideas you have. It has to be constructible. That's where the contractor from Dingshan Engineering came in very handy. He advised us on the cost, and we proposed several materials, of which eventually the pallets, the wooden pallet, recycled wooden pallets are being used. You will see in the next slide. But in general, the pavilion is made out of two facades of generic house shape of a house that is folded and positioned to create the entrance and the space within. So as you can see from the top here, we're trying to illustrate how the wooden pallets are stacked up in modular system. There is also a glass sponsored from Singapore Glass. There is this new product called the light emitting surfaces glass, or the LES glass, that can emit light. This is a product from Singapore, and they wanted us to incorporate in this pavilion. So the blue color portion here are all the glass that are slotted in the pallets. Over here, you can see the walk stand seat illustrated in diagram, and then all these sitting and table areas, as well as the mobile stage, is configured in different configuration in the front, by the side, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the wooden pallet. We contacted a supplier in Singapore in the midst of COVID-19, which is quite interesting. He said that he's still open and there was supply. So these wooden pallets are sold at a reasonable price. If we are awarded, they can be used and for the construction of this pavilion within the given budget. Okay, as mentioned earlier, you can see over here, and this is the exterior view of the pavilion. The LES glass that they are slotted into pallets to form as either facade or coats. You can see there are coats here. On the blue, it's too small to see, but every glass panel, some of them has got coat engraved into them, without the need of using additional supporting frames. So the wooden pallet is very good because it has got certain structural property with additional, additional structural support. This wooden pallet can be stacked up to stand together quite safe. And also, bigger pieces of glass can be slotted selectively, such as the word Archifest can be slotted within the wooden pallets as well. Okay, this is the view of the entrance to the pavilion. As you can see, there is these are the message such as architecture saving the world, ecology, and so on and so forth. okay, so this is the interior view of the pavilion. Okay, in the interior view, you can see the different modes of exchange of ideas, such as physical papers. These papers are rolled up and slotted in the gaps of the palette. So these palettes have got some very good inherited property that we can use here. And the public can actually write these ideas. Workshop can run here. Maybe a teacher, a secondary school teacher, even primary school teacher, can say, ask a student to talk about, what do you think about recycled, what do you think about recycling material? And the student can pen their ideas here and then slot it inside. After they've written, they slot it in any of these compartment here or the gaps here, of which the next person can take it out to read and also to contribute to the idea. So this is one way. The other way is ideas that's written on the glass walls, and they can be penned down here as well. And the next party that comes in, either the next group or individual, can come in to pen their ideas. So the whole idea of that is that these ideas can just continue exchange, plus also a virtual platform where ideas can be hashtagged on social media like Facebook or Instagram. So with this three mode of social media, hard copy of paper, as well as on the glass, this pavilion is an idea depository. So we wanted, that this pavilion can allow an incremental inflow of ideas. By the end of Archifest, even when this pavilion is to be torn down, it will still create many new platforms where ideas can be further developed and explored.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the end of our speech.
Like make to last, right? I mean, the idea is for
Yes.
to make to last, for a long time.
Yeah.
Even though the structure may be down, but the ideas will last.
Yeah.
That's right.
Beyond
That's right.
the physical thing. Wow.
So how long?
Yes.
How long do you all take to create this idea?
Okay. It was. Okay, I'm trying to recall. I think it was the whole competition. The time frame for submission is quite short. I think it's about a month. Is that right, William?
Yeah, 1 month to 1.5.
Yes, which is considered quite short because it's not about the scale. Previously, we have done other competitions that there's as big as a planning of a whole town or a whole building, and sometimes it requires about 3 to 4 months. But in this case, it's about brainstorming. Sometimes a very small scale project can be very challenging because you're trying to address the topic here, which is not easy one, and with a given time and also given budget, it is indeed quite a task for us to brainstorm and come up with something that is actually buildable if we actually are awarded.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm just curious, do your architects like to join competitions? Maybe William can answer, or whoever, one of you can answer that. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Well,
William, you answer.
That's how you got me to join this competition, because you asked me, so I joined now.
Okay, you see, the thing is that the competition keeps us on the toe, and as practitioner, both of us came from pretty big architectural practice previously, and we did sizable projects from designing buildings like office buildings, shopping centers, to even sometimes a town, planning a town and city. Competition keeps us on the toe such that, especially competition like that challenges not so much on how much you can sell, how much you can, how much you can
make a winner.
How much commercial value it has. The competition like that challenges in a different way, and it keeps us on the toe and fresh, because it is competition that makes you like this that sharpens our mind to rethink about certain issues that sometimes we have either taken for granted or we seldom think about. So in this sense, competition is something that we feel that from time to time, by participating in it, we can be enriched and refreshed as architects.
Wow, that's a very, very good and very humble attitude towards competition. We are in the gems and jewelry industry. There's a lot of jewelry competition, like jewelry design competition. I think if we all take this similar kind of stand and attitude towards joining a competition, I think it'll be very good. A lot of ideas will come out.
Yeah.
And of course, the world will be made a better world, because I've seen some jewelry design competitions. Some of the ideas are very interesting and quite amazing. It kind of like blow our minds and kind of make us think, rethink certain things also. Just jewelry design only, This is the idea and the concept behind it. So that's why I ask you that question. You all like to join competition.
How do you balance between commercial value and staying on your toes, like joining a competition? I mean, you guys are busy people. So how do you allocate your time? Like sometimes, you are doing this for commercial and then non-commercial. What is some guiding principles that you all have that guide you to make these kind of decisions?
I think there's no... Okay, yeah, William, go first. Then after
William, yeah.
I think this competition happens during the COVID-19 circuit breaker. So I think when the construction industry sort of slowed down, so it's a good time to actually take part.
Okay, so yes, as William mentioned, yes, the COVID actually has personally for me, it has made me rethink about the purpose of my practice, and that is part of the reason why I put myself in a position to decide to participate in this competition. In fact, both of us participated in 2 competitions during this period of time, which takes up a lot of energy and time. And your question on how do we allocate time, I think it's a choice. We can, of course, joining a competition is freedom of choice whether we want to or we do not want to. So personally for me, partially because I teach and I feel that and I research as well in architecture and urbanism, competition is something that I want to consciously make a choice to participate, to put me on the cutting edge. So once it's a choice, I think the rest of them have to follow. I have to kind of work within the scheduled time I have. And previously, I have also participated in very intense competition, and it happened during time where I was also busy with my other work, and I really have to tell myself, this is a choice I make, then I have to work around with that.
Wow. I have a question. What would you say to those people who always have this aspiration or always have this gian, I want to take part in competition but chicken out at the last minute? Like people like me, like I see I see competition, very nice, very nice to join. Then later I see, so difficult. Forget it. Don't do anymore, I don't think I will win, or I don't think I will get anywhere, and forget it. So what would you say to people like yours truly,
Okay.
Maybe we can start how we...
William, yes.
Yes, paper, stone. William start first, William. Because William was inspired by how to join together with him.
Yeah, I think really when you are working together, like how the Bible says, when one horse can pull 10 cart, but 2 horses can pull 100. Anyway, something like that kind of energy. Yeah, I think when there's a partnership, when we are working with a team, it's easier because you motivate each other. When you're working with by yourself, alone by yourself, it can be tiring, and then you just like moments where you want to give up. But I think having a team is important.
Oh, yes, that's a good point.
I totally agree. Yes, I totally agree. Which actually that brings me back to the name of the firm. Just to sell the name of the firm, which is about team architects.
Show your firm.
It's okay. It's really about team architects. So it's about working together as a team. And I think when you want to join a competition, okay, there are many ways. Of course, you can do so by yourself. There were some advantages of putting in a team because you push each other. You sometimes are critical to watch each other, can watch over each other. And I find that throughout this working time, William is the same as well. We sometimes have fiction, we deliberate, we share, and I think it's in a healthy way we can actually overcome these difficulties of working as a team. It is very rewarding to work in to get yourself going to participate in the competition. But of course, like Hui Ying has mentioned, sometimes it is you need some driving force. A team is one of the driving force. Then of course the other discipline is you want to do it in the first place. And I know that it's not easy. Previously, if you say that you have choose to drop out, I have signed up for competition and eventually I didn't submit before as well. I know that it requires rigorous discipline to do so. So having a team is an added advantage.
Yeah, just like you mentioned about friction. So I guess another thing about having a team is also they are bound to have some frictions. So what is something that you all can actually advise everyone? How do you all overcome this friction
Smoothen out.
Smoothen it out. Yeah. Friction is a physical attribute of life. Without friction we cannot walk. So, but how do we make it comfortable? That's why people invented shoes, and tires. Yeah. So maybe Tahao and William, maybe Tahao, you go first.
Okay. Friction occurs when there's differences in ideas. Just like friction happens everywhere in friendship, in among husband and wife, parents and children. Whenever there is a difference in ideas and disagreement, I think that's normal in life. It happens in family, it happens in work and elsewhere. The question is not about prevention of friction. The key word is how to overcome that and turn that into a creative force.
Wow.
So for the case of William, both of us are quite different in our design approach. I think throughout the competition, if you say beyond just the product itself of what you see here is actually character building, and sometimes we have to kind of learn to put ourselves in the other shoes position, to have a listening ear, to hear what others say, and then how do we put ourselves beyond just put our own ideas beyond ourselves, and eventually to work together as a team for the betterment. So that's the whole thing. It's actually putting ourselves beyond just
That's right.
a singular person or singular idea.
Yeah, I like what you say, turning friction into a creative force. And what I can hear from what you say is really having a listening ear and trying to put ourselves in the other person's shoe and humbling yourself to listen, and then being focused on turning friction into a creative force. Yeah, how about William? Give us your wisdom.
Yeah, I think when you have two persons with different ideas, that's when Bible says iron sharpens iron, right?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you work with someone who is the same mind as you, and then when you try to bounce off an idea, the same message just come back to you, which is no fun at all. Yeah, when you have different ideas, that's when you can really bounce ideas. And then the next attitude, I guess, what Tahao mentioned also is to, I think what the Bible says, esteem others better than yourself. So is to have a listening ear to listen to the other person's perspective, and know that sometimes you don't have the best idea. The other person, you try to listen to the other person, actually it might be more ideas, and then because of that, you ideas can be bounced off each other. Then when he says something, then you take it, react in or response in a positive way. Then you build on the ideas instead of trying to tear each other down.
Wow, actually very, very good, because I just feel like the whole project is, focusing on ideas saving the world and turning friction into creative force, bouncing off each other, and how you can teamwork, because in this world, right, there are good ideas and bad ideas, and bad as how much good ideas build up the world, bad ideas destroy the world. But there's the same time where we stop ideas, like say, no, this idea is a bad idea, and then we just leave it like that, right? It actually stifles our humanity. It stifles progress. So I think what you created, the depository of ideas, where people can come out and really talk about it, like share the ideas, but must have a proper place as an atmosphere of sharing of ideas.
Yeah.
And it's like friction. How to put it? It's like a debate, like you have an idea, you debate to each other. Then this idea will show the blind spots of the other idea, and the other idea will show the blind spots of this idea. And you all humble yourself and put the two ideas together, and losing certain parts of it, like sacrifice, and then certain parts you get even upgraded. And then I think the part of bringing it together, it takes a lot of humility.
Yeah.
This is something that I can see both of you really doing it so well, like coming together and putting your whole idea together, and we're really getting manifested to this whole plan of this 3-space thing. Yeah. So, because last few weeks we've been talking to people, and one of my friends was sharing with us about certain bad ideas. How do we identify the bad ideas, and how do we treat it, with respect? Because sometimes when people share ideas, right, they are being very open. So openness is a good trait. But the moment when we address it in a way that turns people off, or you hurt people, or people will shrink back, So I think this sharing of ideas, what are some key points, right, in creating this atmosphere of sharing and not stifling it, William?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned about creating an open environment, right, where ideas can be accepted and not tear down. So so I think firstly is to be willing to listen, let the person finish what they're trying to say, and then you absorb it first before you respond to it. Yeah, never react to it, because I think as human we tend to our flesh says, like, when you hear something that we don't like, we will react and say, no, you're wrong, or something like that. But
I think we all experience that.
Yeah. So I think to have to be actually one of the civilized signs of civilized society is really to be able to listen. To be able to listen. I think what Pastor always tells us, we are created with 2 ears, 1 mouth, is so that we can listen more than we speak. So be a good listener. I think is very important.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing this whole thing, right? It's really, we go back to the beginning where you all started sharing how you listen to the Lord speaking to you, through His Word. And then when He highlight those key words to you, and you begin to, this sounds good, I'm not sure. Then you come and begin to, I won't say debate with God, but really having a conversation with the Lord, and then allowing the Lord to just reply you back, oh yeah, because this is this, and then it birth forth with really great idea, and that's teamwork also. That's partnership with God. And today we hear on service, with Dr. A.R. Bernard talk about during this period of time, it's really redemptive. We talk about having these ideas coming out. It's a redemptive. We are really, being redeemed. It's a redemptive. What was the word he used? Redemptive process or something along that line. So it's really good when we hear how you are, how you apply your faith into what you do, and I think that's something that many of us, some of us have not really understood that. Some of us are trying to figure it out. Some of us are walking it out already, which is very good. And then this is just coming from another perspective, and then really helping us to move on as well. So it's really very, very good. I have one last question, okay, before we end this 1 hour. When you are doing all your competitions and all that, right, your very important half, right, what was their role in the whole business of things?
What's the mean important half?
Important half, like your wife lah, your...
Oh.
Let's talk about teamwork, because now it's Tak Hao and William, right?
Yeah.
Then Tak Hao cannot be just go home and then, William, everything also William. Your wife also.
Sorry,
right.
William, are you married?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I have a 5-year-old son.
Okay. So the whole family support lah. Just
Yes.
Yeah, really,
The-
really, you need your wife's support.
That's right.
Actually, without my wife's support, I think I can't even have this journey of starting my own firm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes,
This firm actually started last year, the beginning of last year. So it's been like 1.5 years journey. Yeah. So without my wife's support, supporting, believing in me, yeah,
Wow.
encouraging me, yeah, to continue the work. Yeah, I think I couldn't have reached so far. Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
That's right. Yes.
yeah, it's really important.
Yes, I would totally agree. The first place my wife have entrusted her life for 22 years to me. We are married for 22 years yesterday, and the whole journey of my
Congratulations.
architecture practice and my passion in pursuing what are very different from. She's not an architect, and she has accepted me in the very first day that I'm in this profession, and so I'm very thankful that she has supported me in throughout from the beginning of my profession until I started the firm, and this competition is one of the milestones, one of the things that that she has seen in my whole practice career.
Wow.
So very thankful, definitely.
Wow. Yesterday, I was watching a video and I heard this person saying this, she's actually a celebrity's wife. Okay, I think they are Christians. So she said this, 我不买包，我不买名车 or something like this. I don't spend on all these luxury things. 我只买我老公的梦想。Wow, I tell you, when I listen, I believe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Without my wife also, I will not have started Blessings FM.
That's amazing.
That's right. I need to have more faith in myself. Yes, 我不买包，我也不买。我喜欢名车吧，但我没有去买车。但我买我老公的梦想吧，我老公要有梦想，我才可以买。
Wow.
Very good. Very good. Very
Wow.
good.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
That's why I asked that question. Just curious.
Fantastic.
It's true, because when you do your own stuff, your own practice, your own. I was just talking to my friend, he's Jewish. He said that you have to believe in God when you do business.
Wow.
Because he said you need to have faith when you run your own practice. Because at the end of the day, how things happen, you really never know, and you have to have faith, have faith in God to believe that it is good and it will happen and it will move forward. Yeah, and also I also echo what Hui Ying says, the husband and wife, even though you're doing this in your own capacity, the other half is actually supporting you. And I think that is true in all of our work. Although we are doing very hard, and actually our wife is there to support us, and that's something very important.
Wow.
I was very blessed by your sharing. I feel like in the future, I don't know whether you heard this term, knowledge broker. Have you all heard this term before, knowledge broker?
Yes.
It's actually going to be very important. Singapore has already started it about 10 to 15 years ago. One of my friends, assistant professor Stella, she was sent by the government to study a dual degree, I think in law and science. And she's now the director of the forensic science department, and that's already like 15 years ago or 20. I don't know. It's quite some time ago. So I feel like in future, right, moving forward, learning from one another, from architects, from us, like we are like business entrepreneurs, or I feel like this is going to be a very important trait where we have to listen to one another to build forth even more interesting and more innovative environment, and opportunity.
Yeah. That's why I talk about parents, because in the past, it's very straightforward. Either you're doctor, lawyer, accountant, or this engineer, or this and that. Very straightforward, one thing only. But then I think now the time has evolved to a time and a season whereby there's a lot of integration of different things. It's like you're telling me music and architecture can come together. It's like
nature and architecture.
Yeah, and nature and
Blessings
architecture.
FM and architecture.
Yeah, Blessings FM and architecture is the link, correct or not? But there is a link, because in all these things, God is in it. When God is in it, right, the link just comes in perfectly. You
Wow,
know?
praise the Lord.
Just align
Yes.
so perfectly because God is the greatest architect, you know, the greatest creator. He's the greatest creator of all times. Wow. We are so blessed.
Any
Amen.
of our listeners, do you all have any questions or comments?
对哦，忘记给他们时间 question。
Yeah, do type into the chat right now. We just give you some time to just type in any comments that you have or any.
5 seconds to do so.
No lah, yeah lah.
I forgot to let them ask question.
Yeah, we were so engrossed,
yeah.
engrossed in the talk. I thought it was so amazing.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any comments, some Curry say amen.
Yeah.
Lydia give a thumbs up. And wow.
Wow.
This is so good.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
So anyway, William and Tahao, maybe the last words for Blessings FM and also, you know,
Our
and
listeners.
our listeners and encouragement as an architect. All right.
Yeah. From
Because,
the architect's perspective.
yeah.
Any
In-
blessing.
Only blessings and no curses.
Hey, cannot like our tagline. You must have your own.
I think we have talked quite a lot actually. Maybe the listeners will take some time to digest some of the things that we spoke about. Yeah.
Yeah. How about William? Any words of blessings? You know, you want to release or impart.
I think Dr. Ira Bernard talks about hope. I think really, in this season, we really need hope. And whether you are an architect or any other profession, hope is the we need to draw strength, and where you draw strength is really from the Word of God, from God Himself, from His presence. And I feel that being in the marketplace now is more than ever. We need to, as a Christian, right, as being the one who has direct access to God, we must make use of our gifting. I mean of our this grace that's given to us to really connect to God, so that we can bring about change or bring about the light in this darkness. Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe just to encourage those who are in the marketplace, like maybe you have been also serving in church, like how before you serve in a church ministry, be it preaching or anything, you would pray, right? That so do the same when you are in the marketplace. Yeah, pray before you go for a meeting, pray before you engage in any activity, so that you bring the presence of God, the mind of God into the situation. And we try to do this in our competition, and so I hope that whatever we share, we also perhaps we will bless you and encourage you also to bring that presence of God into your workplace.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What William shared, I think maybe we can just give me like few seconds of that. That is it's about seeing every situation, especially in times like that, to seize every opportunity. That there's always when God is in the picture, there's always a way out, and there's always creative ways that God can actually give us a way out or betterment.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much.
To hear that from both of you, I am actually very humbled, because architecture is one of those industries where are very hit by the COVID, and to be able to hear that there's hope still from an architect, there's always seizing the opportunity. Amazing.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I just want to give a last quick shout out. If any one of you interested to find out more from Tahao or William about what they do, you can always let us know. We can send you their emails. They are very open to like share with you. And they don't just do like big size stuff, it's not just that, but from interior all the way to exterior, from HDB all the way to, I don't know, bungalow,
Yeah, they design and build stuff.
Yeah, and
amazing.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You have these two great minds here
Yeah.
together with the greatest mind, with our Father God,
Wow.
working together to help you to make your interior home so beautiful, so full of presence of God. I think next
We
time,
we actually engaged Tahal in the initial design of our museum.
yeah,
You know,
this
our
Garden
new
of
place,
Eden
the
was
Garden
so
of
good.
Eden.
Yeah,
Wow,
fantastic.
really amazing.
Yeah. So I think, I'm convinced, to work with our fellow brothers who are spirit-filled,
Yeah.
with, brilliant minds, and then creating new things, good things.
And able to listen, very important. Wow,
Yeah,
able to
such a
listen.
blessing, such a blessing, such a blessing.
Yeah. So okay, thank you very much,
Thank you
William
very
and
much.
Tahal. And to all
Thank
our
you.
listeners, thank you for listening in. We just want to bless you all. May the peace of God be always with you, and blessings to all your day and all your week. And thank you for joining us. See you. Next week we will be having a special broadcast on Friday evening at 9 p.m. We have somebody joining us from the Middle East. And please come and be excited to hear a wonderful message from the Middle East. Now there's a great things are going happening there, and just stay tuned for more information to our page. So
Yes.
see you all soon. Have
See
a
y'all
nice Sunday.
Thank you very much. Thank
See you
you.
next Friday evening.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.